File this one under things I wish I would have learned when I was younger. We have a lot more in common with each other than we realize, like musicians and construction workers. What? What do musicians and construction workers have in common? Sounds like the beginning of a joke, doesn't it? A musician and a construction worker walk into a bar. Half of you are laughing at that, and half of you will soon be laughing. 2 or 3 of you are wondering how many of his brain cells die each day. Anyway, we're going to step into this measure and find out what is it they have in common. Measure. They're measuring devices. Okay, before we get started, we're going to go through this really quickly, then have some fun. There are 4 quarters in a dollar, right? If this is the first time you've heard of this is going to be one heck of a ride for you. All right, you take 1 inch and you divide it into 4 parts, 4 quarters of an inch. Good. Into 8 parts, 8/8 of an inch. Into 16 parts, 16/16 of an inch. See a pattern going on there? What does this have to do with musicians? Step inside the measure or the bar. That's okay, I'll wait for the rest of you to catch up now. See that goofy little thing on the side? It says 4/4. Yeah, it's a fraction, huh? That's called a time signature, or a fraction in disguise. I hated fractions in school and wondered why I'm ever learning these stupid things, because I'm never going to use them. How many times did I say that in class? Just like the tape measure, why am I going to get to know this any better than basic stuff like it's 3 inches and 3 lines past the big line on the... Like that would ever come back and bite me. Time signatures are like back in the day when parents knew their children weren't going to take the medicine because it tastes like... So they would slip it into a food or drink that they did like just so they can get it down. Great. Time signatures. Now I get to take my medicine and learn fractions. All right, here's the measure. 1 full measure, 4/4 means 4 quarter notes, right? Again, like the inch, 4 quarter notes. Split those in half, you get 8/8 notes. Oh, there you go. And even smaller measurements is 16, you guessed it, chickens. No, 16th notes, you already got it. Good job. All right, now let's have some fun. Construction workers, 3/4 of an inch is a nice waltz. No, it really is. You count to 3 over and over. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But don't count while you're dancing. You look like a moron. At least that's what my junior high teacher said to me. Count? Bass players don't need to count. That's the drummer's job. Right. 7/8. That is money. No, really, it is. Speaking of time signatures that construction workers like, what's a construction worker's favorite time signature? 2/4, because it's cut time. Cut. My daughter made me tell that one. I'm so sorry. All right, we got these other little things taken care of. What about when the number on top is bigger than the number below? What about that, smarty pants? Like 9/8 or 5/4. It doesn't fit in the little box. 5/4 is like 5 quarter notes. That's like 1 inch and an extra quarter. It's outside the box. It is outside the box. All right, don't worry about trying to understand those kind of people. Just love them, because they're odd. Like this song that I found from one of my favorite bands when I was 16, The Cars, a song called Touch and Go. Wasn't quite sure what I thought of it at first, and it started to grow on me. Then I wanted to play it. I thought the drums sounded fun. It wasn't 4/4 time, and there was no sheet music. How am I supposed to learn this? I ended up counting it out and learning that it starts out in 5/4 time, and then 4/4, and then a measure of 2/4, and then back to 5/4, and then to 4/4. Are you lost yet? I know how you feel. That was a struggle for me. It took a bunch of time for me to figure that out, but I love the song even more, and I love to play it. What does this have to do with people? Well, some people like to waltz, some people love money, and some people are just odd. And it may take a little bit of work to get to know them and find out what you have in common. It may take a bunch of time, a bunch of digging, a bunch of patience, but you never know the treasures that you're gonna find. One of them may be that you end up being the odd one. Well, that would be an adventure, wouldn't it? So step outside your comfort zone and maybe get to know that ornery old fart down the hall or that ornery old fart down the road. You never know what you're gonna find. Just like musicians and construction workers, it can work. Oh, I just had a great idea. What if a musician dressed like a construction worker? Weirder things have happened.